throws you punches. Trauma, life, and burnout. I've lived through it all, and I've built something for the fighters that refuse to stay down. If you're ready to stop playing small and own your story, then this is where you belong. The Unstoppable Network is where the overcoming stories are getting very loud. From veterans to survivors to trailblazers, sharing their story of turning their pain into power. Welcome to the Unstoppable Network, where we turn your mess into a message.
All right. I am so excited because I have another Windsor right here with me tonight. If this is your first time joining, my name is Dorothy O'Dell. I am the host of the Unstoppable Network. It was originally Unstoppable Overcomers, and we've changed it because we're changing a lot of things around here. More on that at the end of the show, though, and you'll be excited, especially if you're an author. If you're an author, make sure you stick to the end. But I'm super excited to bring to the stage Tamilynn Edwards. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
And how are you doing tonight, ma'am?
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited and nervous at the same time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I met this incredible woman at it's not real. What is it? What'd you call it? Mastermind group?
Yeah,
a mastermind group a couple weeks ago. And I'm telling you, this lady is just, as soon as I met her, I just like, whoo, yep. It was instant connection, and absolutely love this lady. She is full of spice. And I can't wait for you to meet her. So with that, though, Tamilynn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a Gigi, so a glamorous grandma to two incredible little boys, adult children. And my life's work has been in women's sexuality. So fast forward now, board certified clinical sexologist and intimacy coach.
Cool. And what made you decide to get into that?
Oh boy. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm not sure if anybody knows what PCOS is, but I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome when I was, I think, 14 or 15 years old. And I wasn't really given a whole lot of information on how that actually works, other than you won't be able to have children. You won't be able to do this. You won't. Fast forward, I had both of my children, healthy children. And within about 3 to 5 years after my son was born, I had to have a partial hysterectomy, which then kind of shifted a lot of the things I think we believe about what femininity is, what being a woman means. And there was no guidance, there was no education, there was no real information about what happens to your body after, especially when you're that young.
Right.
So I kind of went down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out my body, all the things that were changing. And then eventually I met a friend. We were sitting down having a glass of wine, and my friend asked, like, if you could do anything in the world, what would you want to do? And I'm like, I want to stand on stages and tell people about relationships and how they can have really good sex. I did not know then, almost 20 years ago, that it was a real thing. First and foremost, I had no idea. I just knew that I wanted to learn more about my body, how it worked. And there was nobody who was actually giving me answers. So it kind of, led me down a very interesting 20-year path of self-discovery, a lot of conversations with women from all walks of life. And that kind of brought me to where we are right now, where I finally was able to meet somebody who showed me this program, who was like, you can actually become what you said you wanted to do over 20 years ago. I did the Sex Coach You program, which gave me the clinical sexology and the sex coaching. So yeah.
Wow. Isn't that something, like when we go through something and overcome it, be unstoppable while doing it, that
Yeah.
leads us to our passion and our purpose.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and, that's to be told at a very young age that, oh, wait a minute, I can't have children. But then, of course, Tamilynn had to prove them wrong, which I
Right.
absolutely love. It's like, as a Canadian, it's like, hold my beer and watch out, because whatever you say is not going to happen. I will make happen.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I just love that. We're so resilient, aren't we? I
Oh
know
yeah.
a lot of people think Canadians are pushovers, but truthfully, we're not.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So I love, well, I don't love that that happened to you, but I love that you got to make your message and turn that pain into power for other women.
Hmm.
What is the best thing that you love about your job? Or that you do?
What I'll say is the conversations that specifically women and couples are able to have in it, and being able to be that person who holds a safe space and allows that container. Because I think something that a lot of people are now learning because of Gen X being so loud about things is there were a lot of things that we were either not taught, we were shamed about,
Mhm.
or the information was extremely misguided that was shared with us. So when I'm able to meet with women and or couples, what ends up happening is it's almost like I can literally see light bulbs popping in their heads. I can see their eyes light up like, okay, so it's not just me that's going through this. I'm not broken. Um, and and then comes the realization that they just need to give themselves permission to do things differently.
Right. I love that. And it's funny because when I first met Tammy Lynn, she goes, "Oh yeah, I help you find the correct doctor to get you to where you're at." And I'm like, "Girlfriend, where were you like 6 months ago when I was literally begging for that?" And I just happened to find an incredible naturopath just before I met Tammy Lynn. And she's
Right.
like, "Oh, well, then you don't need me." I'm like, "Oh, well, girlfriend, there's lots of things we can do together. Like, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean,
Yeah.
right?" And so I love that you helped that, because as a woman who had been struggling for 2 years, thinking I was going crazy, in the I was too young to be in perimenopause when they told me that, which was complete bullshit. And then I went right directly into menopause, and they're like, "Oh, how did that happen?" I don't know. Like, I've been
Yeah.
telling you for years. And some of this, I had every symptom you could possibly imagine. And feeling like no one believed me, feeling like, and then I actually heard Dr. Mary Claver. I
Yep.
was listening to one of her podcasts, and she said, now this was 20 years ago, I think it was, but she said that they were told that if a woman comes in with all these symptoms, that she's just a whiny woman.
Yes.
And I was thinking, what the hell? So if I'm telling my doctor a laundry list of stuff that happens, I'm just considered the whiny woman, and then they don't do anything about it anyways. So
Yeah.
that's very frustrating.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
frustrating.
definitely. Well, and what I found is, so in the 20 years of me leading up to finally becoming certified, um, with the actual education piece, in that 20 years, I traveled across the US and Canada doing in home parties, where I brought sexual health and wellness products, and we had a lot of conversations. So I used to do toy parties, for anybody who doesn't understand that. But so I used to do toy parties, and a lot of times standing in a room full of anywhere between 8 to 20 women, the amount of women who experience the exact same conversations with their doctors, with their partners, and some of them, like myself, with my mom, And either, like I said, were either ignored or kind of misdirected, was more than there was not, which then kind of led me down that path, right? Where a lot of times what happens is we need to be validated for what's going on.
Yes.
And a lot of times I think what happens is now that Dr. Mary Claire and a few other doctors are experiencing it for themselves, they're also now able to see where the information was either lacking or non-existent, and then kind of going back and even looking at some of the studies that were previously done and the mistakes that were made in those studies, as well as giving women a voice. Because the reality is, like I said, even for you, like you just said, that too young conversation, the saddest part that I think that I hear, especially more recently, is perimenopause itself can start as early as 35. So the skin, texture, suppleness, changes in your skin, in your hair. We just spoke about this before we jumped on. Eyesight.
Yep.
Weight. It's not just about the hot flash. It's about all of the small, tiny little things that for us as women, we are told to ignore. The sleeplessness, again, insomnia, all of these different symptoms amount to exactly that, perimenopause.
Right.
And when the doctors that you're going to don't have the education, you feel as though there is actually something wrong with you, that you're broken, or because if they don't have the answers, like that's who you go to for the answers.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like right now, one of my biggest goals, aside from empowering women to have a voice, is that this generation who's experiencing it now, because I want people to also understand 50%, think about the number, 50% of the world population of women is currently in either perimenopause or menopause. 50%.
And could you imagine if we all have a flare up at the same time, where, because we've lost our filters.
Yes.
We don't give a shit now because we've taken the shit for decades.
Yes.
And now we're like, no, I have a voice. I'm going to use it now. And you better damn well listen, because I'm tired of the shit.
Yeah. I mean, even for myself, understanding the process and everything else, when we know that there is something wrong, like something feels off, it's that internal nudge to find a solution, right? We know when something is off. So we go to a doctor who then all those processes. The one thing that I'm starting to see now is there's also a shift even in partners. So those who have a partner, those partners are like, I'm noticing that she's more withdrawn. She's not the same person. So something that I was reading in one of my research papers is that specifically, and I'm only going to talk to women, right? Or, those with vulvas right now, is this, that we go through multiple different stages and phases of our life, right? So again, when you're an infant, and then again when you're a toddler, and then again, all the different stages. Of course, I can't think about it right now, but anyways, all the different stages and phases. We are going to shift not just our thinking, but because of our hormones, it also shifts the desire factor. As you mentioned, the I don't give a fucks has now shifted from I care about everything and everyone to it's not that I don't care. It's I don't have enough in me to care.
Yep.
Because I'm not sleeping.
Yep.
I'm gaining weight. Everything bothers me, and I don't know why. I'm not depressed. So when a doctor is like, oh, well, we're just going to give you this. No, I'm not depressed. Like there's something else wrong, right?
Right.
I've seen a shift in some partners, partners with a penis, that are asking the questions, how do I support my partner? Because I don't know what to do. Like I don't know how to support my partner. And the hardest part is for a woman who was never given the verbiage, the permission, or the gratitude to express what's going on. I think those right there are huge, right? If you were never given permission to say that something feels off and not be told that you're crazy or it's all in your head, or vaginal dryness is it's just natural, just drink some wine and use some lube. Great.
Right.
Okay. Well, which lubrication do I use? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So then that comes into a whole different conversation that I feel like I'm able to hold that space for people where they can ask the questions, they can sit in it, and know that no question is off limits, that no question is a dumb question. Every question is valid.
Right. I love that. I love that. And I love that you have partners coming to you and saying, hey, what can I do to support my partner? That is huge. And I have to say, when I was finally okay enough to not, I don't want to use the word okay. When I finally opened up to my husband and said, listen, this is what's going on. And I don't even feel myself. I don't know what's going on. I can't describe it. And you'll just have to forgive me because I have like no filter and I don't know what's wrong or how to fix it.
Yeah.
And I can't get anybody to help me fix it. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Like I like last week I met with a partner who basically just was like, I'm watching a lot of my friend circle all going through separation and divorce.
Ooh.
I don't want us to fall into that. What do I do? Because again, that this is probably one of the largest to date tracked in history where they're looking at the age demographic of the people that are actually getting divorced. Perimenopause and menopausal women.
Yep.
And with that, there's a whole level of all kinds of different things, right? But that's where, again, my work where I get to sit and have those conversations that we were never really taught how do I express what's happening or why my desire level, some people say it's my libido. But again, you also have to think about it. If testosterone, for women, the testosterone tanks very drastically, right?
Yep.
Which has to do with desire. It has to do with so many other different factors. And I don't want to go too far into those, right? But for men, it would literally take a man anywhere between, I believe it works out to be between 50 to 180 years to lose the same amount of testosterone that a woman loses when she tanks.
What?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because for men, testosterone is a lifetime loss. Through their lifespan. It decreases. I mean, again, aside from specific medical concerns and things like that would cause that to happen, but over their lifespan, if there is no, specific medical concerns over their lifespan, theirs is, I think it's 0.0% that they're losing, right? Like throughout their lifespan.
Right.
Whereas for women, when perimenopause begins, or even before that, it slowly starts decreasing.
Wow.
And then once you hit that perimenopause, menopause, it is more of a tanking than a gradual. And because it's not just the testosterone, it's the testosterone, it's the progesterone, and the progesterone, like it's all of them do this.
Right.
Right. But for
Right.
men, because it's a steadier stream of loss, they don't see it and or experience it the way we do.
Right. That's interesting. I've never heard it be told like that before. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because that explains a lot. That does.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Well, like I said, and I think too, because there's a lot of people who, one of the first things, especially for partners with a penis, one of the first things that they notice, aside from the mood swings, which I think they associate with the menstrual cycle, you know, when that happens,
Right.
they start noticing the distance or the withdrawal. That's what they notice first. And that withdraw, because again, there's that mind-body connection for women. And when there is no mind-body connection, the desire isn't there. If I don't feel safe, even though, I don't know, like say in my 20s, I felt safe with you. In my 30s, I felt safe with you. And safety doesn't necessarily mean someone is putting you in harm. I think a lot of times people forget what that means. Safety in being vulnerable in this moment that I took my glasses off and I can't see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Safety in knowing that I actually don't know what's going on, but you're still going to be here to support me through this. That's where that portion of that safety comes in.
Yeah.
And when we don't feel safe, nothing else gets turned on.
So how do we fix that?
So again, first and foremost, communication, right? First and foremost, it is communication. Being able to communicate, not just your wants, your needs, and your desires, but being able to communicate where you are. Babe, today, I literally just need you to be with me. That safety comes in sitting on the couch and just holding hands. Being intimate without penis, vagina, right? Having those intimate moments without having to have the end result.
Right.
Creating a space to be able to have those moments. Having the conversations. And from those conversations also comes that vulnerability. And then comes the ability to explore something new, because again, something that I talked to couples specifically about, something that you liked in your 20s and your 30s, or that you enjoyed, your body probably just doesn't like it anymore.
That's true.
And there's no, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. But how do you communicate that with your partner who they've been perfectly fine with that for the last 10 years? How do you communicate that in a way that is grounded in your safety, but is also not an attack on your partner? Right? Because again, and as we age, just so that people do understand, as we age with the proper support, we do find, especially in the clinical setting, we do find that as we age, it moves more into sensuality than sexuality. Moments are more sensual than they are sexual. People, like even while I was doing my studies, we found that there were more people who were in their mid to late 50s to 70s and 80s who were enjoying their partner time. And the reason why they're enjoying their partner time, again, no more worry about getting pregnant, right? Because when you're right, so before that 35 or even I'll say 45, before that, there's always the pregnancy scare, right? Whether you're together with somebody and you guys are, you know, whatever, there's always that, right? And then there's always all of those other things that come along with that. There's also menstrual cycle. Oh, maybe it's this time of the month, right? So you have all of that. all of that's gone now. So now here comes the freedom to actually enjoy you and your partner's intimate moments. Most likely within that time frame also, you are now empty nesters. If you want to walk around the house naked, you can, and you don't have to worry about littles running around the house. You know what I mean? So you're moving from one stage of caution and accountability to a little less of that strictness. Is why it generally shifts into that sensuality space where you're also valuing the time that you're together. It's not just a quick fix.
Right.
We're not throwing in a quickie. I mean, you can have a little bit of fun with it. You know what I mean? But those sensual moments are definitely more grounded.
Right.
I'm also one of the things that we had to do when we were in the studies, we had to do what's called a SAR, a sexual attitudes reassessment, where we went through 72 hours of video of all kinds of different things, and we found, well, at least I found, that people over a certain age demographic, were more free within the confines of their intimate space with their partners, and as well solo women. Here's the reason why: because once you hit that perimenopause, menopause, the I don't give a fucks, I don't care that my ass is sagging, my titties do not sit where they used to sit. Like it's just not a thing. I'm just enjoying the moment, either by myself, solo play,
Right.
because when I have an orgasm, my brain shuts off. My body has released the endorphins to allow me to feel good in the moment. And I don't want to put my hands around somebody's neck. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like it's okay. I mean, if you want to do that. But you know what I mean? Like it's one of those moments where you're moving from one stage of your life into a completely new stage of your life.
Right.
So yeah, which is one of the reasons why I've focused on working with perimenopausal, menopausal women and couples, is
Right.
really kind of helping them shift, helping them have those conversations and debunk the myths that we were told. Because what I found for myself as a perimenopausal woman, even during my studies, the one thing that I think that I will say that I learned throughout the intensive program that I went through is I had to let go of the stinking thinking, the shit that I thought that was right or that was wrong, that we were taught. So I had to literally unlearn 25, 30 years of information.
Yeah.
Shift my mindset, which I'm grateful that I had a safe container to do that while I was in school. So that's something that my practice, what I'm doing is holding that safe space so that people can kind of let go some of the things that we were all taught or not taught. Because let me tell you, as a Catholic schoolgirl, there was some things I was never taught, and I had to learn on my own. And let me tell you, woo, that stuff was a little scary. I was like, oh, this really happens? I was like, oh my God. Like, no joke. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. I was a late bloomer, so trust me, I get that.
Right?
Like, late bloomer, but it was, yeah. It can be challenging, you know.
Yes.
And one thing, okay, so my grandmother and my mother are of the old school. Like my mother never talked about sex. She didn't talk about periods, so she sure as hell didn't talk about menopause. Number one, she didn't even know. Well, she knew about menopause, but she didn't really realize that a lot of her symptoms were for the menopause. Now, she had, at age 40, she had a full hysterectomy.
So she blew into it.
She blew into it. And I mean, I can remember, so if she was 40, I was 20, and I could remember that she was like, get so hot. But my mom's always been hot. She goes, I just want to sit on a damn iceberg somewhere.
Right?
And because she was so hot. To this day, she'll be 70 in May, and she's still hotter than shit. Like
Yes.
but her mom didn't talk to her about it. As a matter of fact, I think after my grandma had my uncle, my grandmother had to have a full hysterectomy because she was anemic and like
Yep.
would bleed.
Yep.
And so she ended up having to have a full hysterectomy. So, when my doctors say, well, what was your grandmother's history? What was your mother's history? You can't go by it because they're not normal.
Well, I will tell you this. And this, hopefully, what I'm going to share is very personal, but I'm going to share it anyways because I think that people need to know. So, first and foremost, backstory. So, my mother's had cancer 5 different times. So, she's had breast cancer twice. Metastatic melanoma was the last cancer that she had. Then she had ovarian cancer and cervical cancer.
Wow.
So, I did go and get gene testing done. There is a gene testing clinic that's out of London. You can literally log on to their website and kind of do the paperwork, whatever. So I did that years ago. And fast forward to last year when I saw my menopause specialist. One of the things, of course, that they ask you is, family history, so on and so forth. However, I have never had, which is one of the things that I was grateful that this particular doctor made sure that that is something that we talked about. I know my history.
Mm-hmm.
I do have the BRCA gene. But with all the recent studies, again, it is my choice. But I feel like that is something that we as women forget. The doctor is employed by you, not the other way around.
Oof.
Which means if your doctor is not giving you the full gamut of all of the information and just say, here, take this, and you're uncomfortable, you have the right, not just as a Canadian citizen or as a world citizen or as a woman, you have a right to the proper information to help you make the best decision for you. Yes, family history is great. And I'm not saying that it's not. But the one thing that me and my doctor talked about is, so you understand the potential risks, you understand. I said, yes, but here's something that I'm not willing to deal with. These hot flashes that I was getting started here and went up and literally sat from here to here. Midway through a conversation, I would forget midstream what I was talking about because I was so hot and uncomfortable that I couldn't remember.
Yep.
The memory loss for me as somebody who was studying clinical sexology, that was a hard pill to swallow. Mm-hmm. I couldn't remember my logon to do a lecture that I was just logged on to yesterday. That was huge for me. So when we had the conversation, I just let her know there's a few things that I'm not willing to deal with. I'm not dealing with the flash because I don't have to. I'm not willing to deal with the dryness because it's irritating. And frankly, it's extremely, extremely uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable.
Yep.
And I still want to be able to have sex when I want to have sex. Whether it's solo sex or with my partner, like I shouldn't have to suffer because of a family history. So what are the options? What are the solutions that I can do?
Right.
Right? Because I think a lot of women, because I spoke to a woman this weekend at an event who said her doctor prescribed her vaginal estrogen and testosterone, and she's been extremely, extremely hesitant on trying it. I said, well, how long have you had it? She said, it's been sitting in my bathroom for a month.
Oh my gosh.
And do you know what that told me? The information, she was not given enough information to make her feel safe and secure in the choice that she made. Because here's the other thing. that the doctors aren't going to tell you is that, again, that loss of all of those wonderful little hormones that make us the incredible powerful human beings that we are, also decrease the elasticity of your vagina and your vulva. It will eventually, and I don't mean disappear to scare you, but eventually your vulva will shrink up because there is no elasticity, because there is nothing there. And she looked at me, she said, wait, what? I said, call your doctor and ask them to sit down with you to have an in-depth conversation so that you feel safe enough to try this.
Right.
Her only concern was, well, the study. I said, yes, but the study was done over 25 years ago. That study was also done with test studies who had already had cancer. You know what I mean? So again, if you don't feel like you're getting the information that you need to make you feel safe and secure in the decision that you're making, regardless if you choose to do HRT or if you choose to drop the wine, you know what I mean? Like there's so many other solutions so that you do not have to suffer, never mind silence, so you don't have to suffer.
Right. And that is huge because I just personally started with the HRT patch, and I'm telling you, my what do you call that? Hot flashes. I'm not going to say disappeared, but they are
But they've
tolerable.
minimized drastically. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and that's only been a week and a half.
Yeah. Oh, just wait. Oh, honey, let me tell you. I'm not even kidding you. I feel like I have.
Hey, Tina.
I will tell you this. I don't want to say that I feel like a new woman, but this is what I will say. As a woman who has PCOS, my testosterone levels have been here. And not one doctor I'm 51, not one doctor up until last year has ever tested me for my hormones, ever. Even
Wow.
as somebody who has PCOS, which means, I hope you guys are ready for this, I have never felt like myself because my hormones have never been regular. My hormones have always been like this.
Oh my
So
gosh.
even before partial hysterectomy, I had a menstrual cycle sometimes for 3 or 4 months, and then I wouldn't have one again for 6 months. So I never knew what it felt like. And so I think 5 years ago, it was the first time I sweat for the first time. And then I started actually really feeling the symptoms. And I will tell you, after starting HRT, I truly and honestly feel like the woman that I'm supposed to be.
Cool.
I do. I'm more clear-headed, even though I've always been, but I feel like now I don't have the fear of having to apologize for forgetting something or actually forgetting something, or you know what I mean? Like I just feel more like myself. Yeah.
Tina's like, how can they not check your hormones? That's crazy.
Well, this is what I will tell you. Again, I believe so now, because we're in Ontario, and I only know numbers for Ontario, but I know 87% of the population of Ontario GPs and gynecologists are male. So I was always told, lose the weight.
Oh, I get that all the freaking time.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And the funny thing, when I think about it now, the funny thing is I understand where that comes from. However, as somebody who had or has polycystic ovarian syndrome, it literally is one of the most difficult things to do. And it wasn't until I saw Dr. Harris in Ottawa, who explained to me exactly, which, if you think about it, that was like, I was 45 when I finally found a doctor who wasn't even from Ontario. He was from BC, who explained the process of how my hormones are reacting in my body and why I couldn't lose the weight. So for every single doctor before that, it was always lose the weight and your hormones will become in check. And I'm like, oh, so so thank goodness I didn't have like the full beard, but I always had hair here. I always had hair behind my legs. And the drive, that testosterone, that drive, the go, go, go was always very male dominated, in that way. But yeah, for a very, very long time, oh, well, we can't test your hormones is the answer that I always got. So lose the weight or we can't test your hormones, until I found a doctor, like I said, who that's what she specializes in. That's her whole, like, that's what she does.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes.
I get that, because literally the heart specialist, that's all he cares about. Everything's fine, even though my family history, like, it's a rap sheet a mile long of the heart
Yes.
crap that's in my family. Even though I'm perfectly okay, because I've had every test imaginable. Yes, I have a little bit of a high cholesterol, but I'm going through menopause and I'm 50 this year. So hello, there's,
Yeah.
and then endocrinologist, met him for the first time, looks at me, doesn't say anything else, and says, "You need to lose weight." I'm like, "Well, thank you. I'm here for my thyroid. Can we talk about my thyroid?"
Yeah.
Like, do you not think I haven't tried? Well, what have you tried? So the first 30 minutes of my very first appointment is talking about how I need to lose weight, even though I told them I was with a dietitian, and all of this. I'm like, do you not realize that my body is in menopause? Like, can you not just stop and
Yeah.
like let I got to get this balance before this can happen, and I can't get nobody to help me, and you're
Yeah.
supposed to help me, and you're telling me this.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. But that's why I said, so, even when people follow me on social, I have started really kind of, especially for here in Canada, because I feel like a lot of the information that's out there is all American information, which has been something that's, I get it. This is the world that we live in, but I've been really trying to help women really understand, here's the questions that you're going to ask your doctor. Also, here's all the blood tests that they're supposed to do for you. So I do have, that information. I have a couple, ebooks that people can download so they can start actually tracking their symptoms. So when they go to their doctor, if for whatever reason their doctor's like, well, you're not in, actually, here's some actual documentation that yes, there is. I, really been trying to focus on working with and meeting with local doctors who, if nothing else, are willing to have the conversation.
I love that. We definitely need it. And I get, I've been told several times that doctors only get like 30 minutes of clinical on menopause in their entire residency. And I get that. And I know that the system's trying to change that, and hopefully enough women, talking about this will change it even quicker,
Right.
and get the doctors the schooling that they need.
Yeah. But I think that also goes to the bigger picture. What is our job right now? Because here's the thing. It will never be our generation that will feel the effects of that. It's the generation that comes after us. Right? And so it's the generation that comes after us, which is why I believe having conversations like this with you is so important. That no, we are not complaining. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like it's not, I'm not complaining, but I need people to understand that when you are experiencing something and you're either being told like you lose the weight, or no, you're not, or you're too young, question that authority. Because remember, doctors are humans too. You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes we kind of forget that. We go to a doctor with the expectation that they're supposed to have all the answers. And the bonus is, if you do have a doctor who does have all the answers, those answers result in a referral here, a referral here, a referral here. And something that I had to have a conversation with somebody the other day, GP. GP means general practitioner for a reason. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the thing is we're going to a general practitioner for a larger issue. And just I'll say Windsor, Essex County, there's only a few compounding compounding pharmacies in Windsor, Essex County. So if you go to a GP who doesn't actually know how to read your hormones or do any of those things, you're going to play whack-a-mole with your hormones until you figure it out. But it's our job to ask the questions or to push for a solution and not take, no, you're too young, it's not time, your family history, all of these things as, you know, as the golden rule. That's not okay. Or lose the weight. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Exactly what I did when I walked out of the door, out of his clinic. Yeah,
like I said, I had to take that as a reminder to myself, like earlier when I said, the doctors work for us, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things that I've had to learn over the last, I would say, 5 years, because growing up with you don't challenge authority. Kids are to be seen and not heard. And if, you're supposed to, I wouldn't say bow down to your elders, or somebody with
respect level. Yeah.
Yeah. Respectful. And so growing up, that's how I grew up. And so, I never thought to challenge my doctor until I just had enough. And then I started challenging everything.
Yes.
And I started doing my research, doing my homework. I lived in Chatham for several years, and the Chatham Hospital had CKOK, and they had it was a special all in that 1 month. I think it was before Christmas, anyways, where they had like a menopause doctor and then a naturopath and all of this. It was all about women's health and all around menopause. And I'm like, so they do exist. They may not be in Windsor, but they do exist, and it's in a driving distance. And so that's actually how I found my naturopath, because seeing that segment led me to her, and led me to some answers. And my first appointment was an hour and a half, and
it should be.
And I was just like, what the hell? Like, no one has ever spent that time. No one has ever validated how I felt in the medical realm like that. And just like, no, you're not going crazy. And so I'm really glad there's people like yourself, and there's people like Dr. Aaron Tingwinkle out there that are knowledgeable and are actually helping women through this.
Yeah.
Because it's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like that's the other thing is, if you're, say, somebody like me, I don't watch TV. I don't watch. So where are women finding this information? They're Googling.
Mm-hmm.
And with the vast array of all the different things that are online, like, how do you find the right information? Where do you go for all of that? And that's where, like I said, having a circle of women, because like you mentioned earlier, your mom couldn't remember. My mom ignored the question. Strict Catholic chick, she completely ignored the question. I was like, no, like, did your boobs hurt? Like, what happened? Like, tell me. And then she reminded me, she's had cancer so many times, she doesn't remember. Like, she honestly doesn't remember all of the different phases and stages that her body went through. So when they ask you questionnaires, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like that's where having us start tracking our own things, also remembering that you're not questioning authority. What it is is you're remembering that a doctor is a human being just like you, who has extra credentials, which is fine. Because again, if you go in, you're an accountant, you have extra credentials. It doesn't devalue who you are. But knowing that your health and your longevity, especially going through something so drastic to the human psyche.
Yeah.
I am literally shedding a whole layer of life in a 7 to 14 year phase.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then I doing even some additional research, finding out that Black women go through perimenopause and menopause earlier. And the symptoms are a lot more intense, which I didn't realize.
Okay, so have you seen that TikTok with that
Yes.
beautiful Black lady who's sitting at a football game and the steam is just coming off her head? Like,
Yes.
I saw that. I'm like,
I am so
oh.
grateful that, like, when I watch that, I am extremely grateful that my symptoms were not as intense. But when I read that, I was like, wait, I don't understand. And that's because the stress hormones are different, which I didn't realize that was even a thing. Right. But I think that's the other thing, is that's where having a circle of women that you are in communion with on a regular basis, to be able to, hey, I started feeling this, or hey, I started feeling this. Because I don't know about you, but I was kind of freaked out last year. Again, I had to get a new prescription for my glasses, which I never wore glasses before I was in my 40s. Then all of a sudden I'm wearing glasses every day. But anyways, I was sitting and I was reading something, and I swear, I'm telling you right now, I swear I thought I saw something, and I was like, what the heck? So I looked and there was nothing there. And then I'm sitting here right now, and I swear I thought I saw like a fruit fly. And I'm like, okay, listen, what is happening? What is, you know what I mean? And everybody's symptoms, I think I was reading, there's over 100 and some odd different symptoms so far. And every single woman's symptoms are going to be different. Some women have hot flashes that go from the top of their head to the sole of their feet. Some women, it's just in certain areas of their body. Some women don't have hot flashes, but they have cold sweats. Some women, again, there's so many, a vast array of all these things. And I think this is where women who do have partners can share their experiences with their partners, because I do believe that there's a group of partners who are terrified because they're watching the person that they love the most experience something that they can't explain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing, is there's that wonderful piece of us kind of coming into our own and kind of all these things. But for those people who have partners, there is that sense of fear because they don't understand what's happening. And they also don't know how to help at all.
Yeah. And then they too could be going through something.
Yes.
And they're like, how do I communicate that to my partner when they're going through something? So it's just.
I'm going to give you a fun one. So men go through something called andropause.
Okay. Andropause. I love it.
Yes. So it's called andropause. And generally for men, it's between 45 and 55. Okay. That's typically when it occurs. Again, this is for a relatively healthy man. Whereas, you know how some people, they say a man's going through a midlife crisis, that's when he gets a younger woman, or he buys a new car, changes his career, all these things. So again, that is when they start seeing the gradual decline of testosterone. And it's only about 1% that they lose starting at the age of 30.
Hmm.
Right?
Wow.
But again, so their symptoms are somewhat similar in fatigue, muscle loss, libido issues, um, muscle loss. So those are some of the large ones, especially for men, that they'll slowly start noticing if they're paying attention. And I think that's the difference between the two. We are always taught as intuitives. We intuitively know things about things, right? We pay attention. And what happens is when our body stops doing certain things, it's like a light bulb internally goes off for us, like something is wrong, or just something is wrong. Whereas men don't necessarily, and I'm not saying that they all don't, but I feel like men don't necessarily pay attention to the small losses because there's tiny micro losses. But for us, they are extremely large and out loud.
That makes 100% sense.
Yeah. And, hence the reason why I have started offering workshops offering workshops for people that they can actually attend either in person or virtually. Because I think these conversations need to be had on a regular basis, and kind of showing people where the path forward is.
Right.
Yeah. Do you still want to be intimate with your partner, or do you? Because I think something that somebody said to me at one of my workshops is, I want to be intimate with my partner, but I find every single time he stands behind me while I'm washing dishes. When we were younger, if he kissed me on my neck, it always ended with, there was always an end result. So he knew when he kissed me on my neck or kissed me on my shoulder, there was going to be an end. She said, the problem is, I want the kiss on the neck, I want the hug, but I want what comes after. I want to have that intimate moment, but I don't want, you know what I mean? So, and that's where having these workshops are really important. Because I get to have those hard conversations with people, without putting anybody on the spot, so that if it's a couple, they can literally have those conversations and no one feels put on the spot.
I love that.
So yeah,
just shout out to Linda C. Welcome, and she agrees with you absolutely. And that's funny because I never really thought about all those changes. And as I look back now and I'm like, oh, I can identify pretty much everything that you're talking about. And I don't know. I just thought it was
you.
I thought it was me. I thought it was me. And I thought it was like, I didn't know. I knew I've been changing.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not always for the better. It isn't one way, but isn't in another, right? Because I have completely lost my filter. And I have zero patience anymore. And, but as somebody who was like a human doormat, that no longer exists. And so, I kind of thought to myself, is it just because I'm not allowing anybody to be a doormat anymore? Now people are pissed off because I put the boundary up. Or am I just being a bitch, or one of several other variations that it could be? And I'm having this conversation with you. It's just my, and I know my hormones have been all over the place. But I mean, there's other reasons for that too. But
right.
It's just now that I see the picture and the dots, and it's just like, oh, well, now it all just makes sense.
Yes. And I think, like I said, for me anyways, even while I was going through my studies and through the 20 years of talking to women over the years, we don't give ourselves enough pause to see where the dots are aligning. So we automatically internalize.
Yes.
There's something wrong with me.
Yes.
Then we automatically go into the blaming. I should have, I couldn't, or I did. Then we also then go into that blame and shame that we were all brought up in. And then comes the realization, like you just said, I've always been this way. And now I'm kind of shifting out of that. And there's a group of people who are like, oh, you're bitchy. Oh, here's the funny thing. Something that I learned. And I hope you're ready for this.
I'm ready.
Other people's opinion of me don't pay my fucking bills.
That's right.
So here's the thing. If somebody says, because this used to really, really get to me, especially when I was younger, when people say I'm intimidated by you. No, you're not. No. When somebody says that to you or about you, it is about them. It has nothing to do with you.
Yep.
So if someone is telling you something, it's because they're uncomfortable with the boundary that you have placed.
Yep.
If somebody is expressing that, they're uncomfortable within something within themselves that has nothing to do with you, which then in turn throws shame. And that's where that shame comes from. Right? So it's kind of getting ourselves out of that place of shaming ourselves, blaming ourselves for where we are. We are naturally evolving human beings that are going through an incredible transformation. And if we allow ourselves to go through perimenopause and menopause with grace and permission, we will go through it because it's a process, right? Without the blame, without the shame. And the only way you can get out of the blame and out of the shame is having the conversations and having the experiences.
Right.
You know what I mean? And giving ourselves permission to experience life a little differently. Okay, so it does not look the way that it looked when I was in my 20s. The conversations that I have with my adult children now are not the same conversations that I had with my kids 10 years ago. You know what I mean? The conversations that I'm having with the people that I work with, not necessarily my clients, but the people that I work with outside of my practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not just the boundaries either. These are hard no's. No, I'm not tolerating that. My nervous system is not okay with that. So I'm going to tell you, Ms. Dorothy, to give yourself permission and a little bit of grace. You know what I mean? You've lived enough life to know what you need, to know what you want, and to walk the way you want to walk. And whether it's with an extra curve on the left or curve on the right, listen here. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, hey, there's enough people in the world. You ain't got to like me, honey. Okay. Like it is the way that it is. Go find somebody else to like.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I am just like, I am way past the point of caring anymore. If you don't like me, turn the channel. It's okay.
Yeah. But you know, like I said, even going back to the desire factor, the partner factor, have the conversation. I want to, here's where I hesitate. I need, but here's where I hesitate. Because something else that I would love to leave with is an orgasm is not the end all that be's all.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? That's not the destination. The journey. It's the journey. Fun fact. It is the journey. Listen, fun fact.
Even if you're with the Minuteman.
Yes.
Not that I am. But
Yes, because, okay, so I'm going to do this only because I'm looking at the time and I feel like we've taken up a lot of time. So
I was going to say we got to land the plane soon, but yes.
Okay, so I'm going to show this to you all before I leave, only because she is my friend and I need, you guys might be able to help me name her, okay? So This, if you do not know what this is actually the structure of the clitoris. So the clitoral hood is what we see, the vulva. These are the cura. So these are the clitoral legs that wrap in and around underneath of the G-spot. So here's a crazy fun fact. There's over, and do not quote me on the exact number because I never counted. Okay. So it's anywhere between 10 to 18,000 nerve endings that are just in the clitoris.
Oh my God. Really?
85% of the world's population of women can only have a clitoral orgasm. So penis, vagina, sex mean nothing. That's number one, because there's no nerve endings in there. Just saying. Okay. So fun fact, it takes a woman approximately 20 minutes, 20 whole minutes of actual foreplay. Foreplay could mean I'm texting you midway. I'm texting you on the way home. Hey, babe, you got that cute outfit on that I bought you? Ooh, dinner looks good. Smack my ass, call me pretty, and take out the garbage. That could be foreplay for you. You know what I mean? Like, whatever that it is for you. I don't care. Put the kids to bed. Do the dishes. Oh, you changed the oil in my car and you didn't even tell me. You just did it. That is foreplay.
That is, men. That is
right?
Foreplay.
It starts up for women. It starts up here for us. So you send me that message. We, converse throughout the day. That builds that arousal, that desire factor. It builds throughout the day. So that when you hit this pretty little spot, hello, hi, it's the little man in the boat. Hello. It's not a DJ booth. Ding, ding, ding. Like, it's not a DJ booth. It takes 20 minutes, 20 whole minutes for us to warm up. So you started here. And now all of the things that you did during the day, the set things that you said during the day, midway through, it's perimenopausal time. Shit, it sounded good. It was a great time. Now I'm laying in bed.
Right.
So you're going to crawl up beside me and you're just going to massage. You're going to roll it back up. Here comes the 20 minutes again. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole ebb and flow to this process. That's why I said it's a change. When you were in my 20s, you smacked my ass and called me pretty and we went to dinner. In our 30s, you smacked my ass and called me pretty and put the kids to bed. In my 40s, the kids are gone until such and such time. You smacked my ass, called me pretty, took out the garbage, and did dishes, and cuddled with me on the couch. It wasn't just a Netflix and chill. We're in our 50s, baby. Let me tell you. It can be so much better. Just saying.
Linda is so glad that she popped into. She's joining us from LinkedIn. I'm so glad that you found us, Linda. I love it. I hope you join us each and every Monday because we are here each and every Monday. So welcome.
Yes.
I just love all of that, Tamilynn. Like I'm so glad. Like if anything, people saw the last 5 minutes of the show. I mean, it was all worth it. But that last 5 minutes is, I think, what every woman out there wants their man to hear.
Share it with your husband. Call me.
Right. Go to our YouTube channel right now, which is the Unstoppable Network. Subscribe and then share this. It will be there within the hour. Share that with your husbands, ladies. I promise you. I want to hear the feedback from that. You can reach the show at grahamdorothy408@gmail.com or wherever I am on social media. And let us know how that went with you. Like, just show them that. I'm going to have to clip this up.
Yes.
She's in her 50s. See? Exactly.
Girl, I'm telling you, 51 over here. Hey.
I still have 5 months. So before I hit the 50 club.
Oh, honey, Dorothy, it only gets better. I promise you it only gets better. And I do hope that, again, you'll, jump into one of my workshops. I would love to have you. But yeah, definitely.
Perfect. So where's the best place for people to reach you, Tamilynn?
Either Instagram, Facebook. You can go to my website to, kind of check out some of the things that I'm offering. But generally I do post pretty regularly. Even on my TikTok, I've got a few quick videos that are on there. But maybe what I'll do for you and for your viewers, I will drop send you a specific link for them to grab one of my ebooks, totally free, on desire and menopause after 40.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And especially thank you to our audience here. She said she'll be 57, so she's joining the group.
Yes, Linda. Yes.
What's your handle on TikTok?
So on TikTok, hold on, let me see, because I'm like, let me see. See, there's that brain again. So on TikTok, I am Coach Tamilynn. Yeah, Coach Tamilynn. And then Instagram, it's Sensuality Coach Clinic. Facebook, it's just Tamilynn Edwards.
Go check this amazing woman out. Sign up for, when's your next workshop?
So my next workshop is February. I haven't dropped the dates yet, but I'm looking right after Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
Yeah, get some of those couples out so that they can, reconnect and find the spark.
Right.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Well, thank you so much, Tamilynn, for coming on. It has been a pleasure. I knew that this one had to be live, and I knew that this one, everybody would be, oh, hold on. Ever considering working with Veteran Affairs subcontracting?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah,
There
inbox me. Yeah, inbox me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And
I know.
First, I meant to check out Linda because I do a lot of work with veterans. So we'll have to connect.
Yes.
Anyhow, I love that. And thank you so much. Go stalk Tamilynn. Go check out all her social media sites. Sign up for her masterclass. And listen, it was a pleasure. Maybe we'll have to do like a part 2 in the future.
Okay. Questions. People can send you all their questions, and I'll just answer questions. That's fine.
There we go. Send your questions in, and we'll have Tamilynn come back on to answer. Yeah. So that would be cool. And send me that link, and we'll get that out to our guests for tonight.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, folks. Don't forget, same time, same channel next week. If you could go subscribe to our channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Share it with your network. Share especially this particular episode with people that you love, because I'm telling you, it's going to help you out in the long run. And look closely, because starting February, we're going to have something to bring this community even closer together. So with that, we'll see you same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.
Bye.